and welcome to the Spoonie Stitcher channel. I'm Shannon the Spoonie Stitcher. You're inside the stitchery and I'm so happy you're here today. Crocheters are not just crocheters. A lot of us have a lot of other interests. I have friends who absolutely have passion for video games. I have friends who love to go camping and love the outdoorsy sports. I have friends who love to bake. I like to bake too. But we are not just crocheters. So I thought that this channel shouldn't just be one kind of passion. I'd love to combine my passions. And one of my passions I have is Broadway. I love Broadway. I have loved Broadway since I was little. Pretty much I fell in love with movie musicals when I lived overseas because people would send us older classic musicals and other movies when I was a child because there was very little English-speaking TV shows and movies for the limited cable that we had. So my parents would ask our relatives and friends if they could send us, you know, classic film, which is also another passion of mine, but that's another video. One of my first memories of being introduced to a stage production has to be when I had to live with my Nana for a couple months. My dad was changing jobs and it was a thing. But my Nana absolutely loved cats, and she had a taped stage production of Sir Lord Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cats. I loved every bit of it. The staging, the way the lighting worked, the acting, the songs. I thought it was amazing. The idea of a stage musical was intriguing to me. So I went to different schools throughout my life, but I was always involved in theater in some way, shape, or form. Went to theater camps. I was trained by an opera singer for singing lessons. I took dance, several kinds of dance. I took some script writing kind of classes. I wanted to be involved in all of it. I was a stage manager for all of my high school productions. I was the stage manager. And I even wrote the 5th and 6th grade play. So theater has been a huge part of my life. In fact, I almost went to college for theater. But remember, my parents were also sent all of those movie musicals. So when I learned that those were stage productions, I was even more interested in the fact that what a musical is. So fast forward several years, Apple TV has put on a show called Schmigadoon, which if you follow me on Instagram, I will not shut up about. I love this show. It's so clever. It is a couple from our world. It's played by the fabulous Keegan-Michael Key and the hilariously talented Cecily Strong. They are the regular couple who get stuck in a fantasy musical land. It's like being trapped in a 1940s, 50s movie musical. So I was so excited when I learned who some of the big Broadway stars would be in the show. Alan Cumming, Kristen Chenoweth, Dove Cameron, Aaron Tveit, Jaime Camille, Anne Harada. The list goes on. I was so excited and I fell in love with this show. If you haven't seen it, it's on Apple TV Plus only, but there are free trials out there if you just want to see. The show was so successful that it got renewed for a season 2. Now, the couple have gotten stuck in the 60s and 70s musicals like Cabaret, Chicago, Hair, Godspell, those kind of musicals. So what does this have to do with anything? Okay, so in those shows, there are Easter eggs for theater kids like me. And they are hard to spot because some of them are really fast. So there are channels like Stealing Focus, Mickey Joe Theater, Broadway by Ghostlight, who dissect the little Easter eggs and tell you the ones you missed for fun. In the background of one of their videos, I saw a bear that was dressed like the Phantom of the Opera. And I thought, oh, I bet it's a Build-A-Bear, because Build-A-Bear makes movie bears all the time. They've had Beetlejuice, Elf, they have Disney princesses. I think they just made Princess Peach for the Mario movie. I mean, they do stuff like this all the time. But no, it's an actual Phantom of the Opera licensed product. So if you go to a Phantom of the Opera production, they have a little kiosk at the very end, kind of like a little traveling gift shop, where they've got merch you can buy to remember your experience, like t-shirts and stuff. Well, this is one of those products. So, being a Broadway fan, I went, oh, I need to make a bear that's Phantom of the Opera. And I thought, I'll just put it as part of my list. Well, April 16th of this year, Phantom of the Opera has been on Broadway for 35 years. And they closed their doors. It's officially a closed show. And I went, well, what better way to honor it than to make the bear now? So I made the bear, which I'll show you in just a second. As I was making the bear, I got an idea. I am going to combine two of my biggest loves, crochet and Broadway. And I'm going to have something called Broadway Bears once a month. What I'm going to do is I'm going to crochet a bear or two from a specific show, tell you a little bit about the show, why I love it, but my body is not reliable. I cannot depend on it. So I can't guarantee that it'll be every month, but I'm really excited. And I'm also considering doing a tutorial for the bear itself. I did design it. It is 100% my design. I am really proud of it. And if I get enough interest, I might do a tutorial on making the bear. But in every video, I will tell you the adjustments I made for each bear and how they look different and stuff. And some of them I want to be able to dress up in different outfits because they have different iconic outfits in the show. But we'll see. So anyway, if you're a Broadway fan, you might like it. If you're a crochet person, you might come for the bear. That's cool too. I just want to combine two of the things I love into my videos because I am not just a crocheter. I also really love Broadway. I also love classic film. Is that a hint to an upcoming series? Maybe. And I love the idea of crochet being mixed with everything I love. So, you want to see the bear? Okay. Isn't he cute? Oh, I love him. This is 100% my design. I designed everything about it, and I'm so proud of it. I love it so much. He is made, his body is burlap blanket yarn. His face is a 5-weight Red Heart yarn. I think it's Red Heart Soft. Don't quote me. It's the one that has the little shiny texture. And then this is a Lion brand yarn that also has a little bit of sheen to it. This is a 6-weight. So we've got 6-weight, 6-weight, 5-weight. And then his eyes, I believe, are 22 millimeters. He is about the size of a Build-A-Bear, but he's probably closer to an American Girl doll, which would be about 18 inches. And his cape is removable. His mask is not. I could not figure out a way to make his mask that didn't have a silly little string or something around it because in the show, it just kind of sticks to his face. I have my theories about why, which are not pleasant. So, anyway, it's sewn to his face. I did this on purpose because I really do want the mask on there without it looking silly with a little string. I don't really want him to look like he's in a costume. I want him to be the Phantom Bear. I will show you what he looks like without his little cape if you want. Please ignore one of the arms. I screwed up. But this is what he looks like without, there. This is what he looks like without the cape. this is the correct arm, this is the wrong arm, so I'm just gonna put my hand over that. His ears were really fun to make and really easy. I just made a dome and then I popped my finger in there to give him a little dimple in his ears, and I just think it adds so much. I love it. This is the back of him. Oh no! So his little cape is removable, and I'm really happy I wrote this down, because if I ever want to make like a Dracula bear or something, this cape would be perfect. So I lost at Yarn Chicken, and the cape is shorter than I'd like, but I don't know, I think it's a good length still, so. Ta-da! It's my Phantom bear. And I wore my hair down, so, you know, it's kind of like I'm Christine, so let's see. Phantom of the Opera first began as a myth that an old Parisian opera house would tell of a mysterious ghost that lives in the catacombs of the opera house, and at just the right time he may or may not curse the production. The French author Gaston Leroux decided he would take the myth and stretch it into a story and give you the backstory of what the Phantom might have been. A very promising composer, Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber, decided that after his string of successes, including Evita, Jesus Christ Superstar, and Cats, decided he wanted a musical that was high romance and a sense of longing that he felt his other productions didn't quite have. He talked to his good friends and collaborators, Charles Hart, a lyricist, and a book writer, Richard Stiglow, and they loosely adapted the 1909 novel, more of a tragic love story between a deformed musical genius and a sweet young soprano. Finally, January 26, 1988, Phantom of the Opera opens on Broadway at the Majestic Theater. The musical takes a couple of liberties of its own, but doesn't go too far from the original novel. A phantom, a musical genius who dwells beneath the majestic opera house of Paris, taking to the catacombs because he's shunned by society for his horrible facial deformity, takes a young promising soprano, Christine Daae, under his wing after her father dies, teaching her to be more and more successful in her singing. As he coaches her, he starts to fall in love with her. At 20 years of age, Christine Daae gets her official debut as the lead when the original lead Carlotta, also known as the prima donna, cannot perform. In the audience, the night she performs, is but a childhood friend who is all grown up now, Raoul. The two become reacquainted and he begins to court her. As she falls more for Raoul, the Phantom becomes more jealous and terrorizes the opera house, sending threats of all kinds, and finally takes it in his own hands to just take Christine away. Raoul, of course, comes after her, and that's when the danger of the musical begins. The music is a wonderful mix between an operatic sound and a pop sound. Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber really wanted to mix the two because he felt that opera was something the younger crowd should appreciate more, but there had to be a way to change it. Several bands and singers have made countless covers and parodies of his wonderful music with Christopher Hart's lyrics because the songs are just so catchy. Even if you've never seen Phantom of the Opera, surely you've heard those booming chords of the main organ music with the chandelier coming down from the ceiling. Or surely you've seen the posters with the Phantom's iconic mask laying next to one single red rose. In 2006, it became the longest-running musical on Broadway. It surpassed Cats. So basically, Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber just surpassed himself. It has won 7 Tony Awards, including Best Musical, and on Broadway alone, it has grossed over more than $1.3 billion in profit. In 2004, Hollywood got involved and decided that the phenomenon should become a movie musical starring Gerard Butler as the Phantom and the beautiful Emmy Rossum as Christine Daae, the young soprano. So many beautiful little stories inside one big story. There's mystery, there's love, there's a little bit of terror, there's adventure. It's got it all. So if you've never seen Phantom of the Opera, I highly recommend trying to find some production of it. If I can find the 25th anniversary concert or something like it, I will put it in the link below. But it's very much worth a watch. You could also watch the film. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you know every time I post a new video. I don't stick to a schedule, so if you don't turn those on, you might miss one. I'm so glad you could be here today. I hope I gave you a little bit of Broadway fun and a little bit of crochet inspiration. Remember, life happens, yarn helps, and spoonies can stitch it up too. Goodbye.